that you had shared with me a story off air that I think is really, really cool, really unique because we're a podcast about giving back and helping other
Yeah.
people. And I want to hear what you have to say because I think this is really cool, the story that you shared with me.
I was out of the business for a little bit, and I chased wrestling since I was 17. I moved away from home. I've been gone for over 15 years, and in 2020, I finally moved back home to Medicine Hat, and I just felt like I wanted to make up for lost time, and I wanted to give back and help out any way I could. My father had several surgeries, hip replacement, knee replacement, so it worked out well that I was home at that time to help him and give him a hand and pull some extra weight around the house. And but I was just praying to God, man. I was just looking to give back and help and ask and you shall receive, because my next door neighbor that lived across the street from me, his name was Jerry Berg. Uh, he had MS, multiple sclerosis, and he couldn't walk. He was wheelchair bound, and he had limited working, feeling, and cognitive function, motor functions in his hands. So he needed a lot of help. He needed a lot of extra care. And ask and you shall receive. He just kind of fell right into my lap, man. And I started giving him a hand. It started out just like a shift here or there a week, but I won him over because I would, he had like lifts and stuff in the house to like harness him up and move him from the bed to the chair to the living room. And it takes time to hook a guy up to all this stuff. And he's dead weight, about 160-pound, 60-year-old man. And I would just literally, from my wrestling training, my weightlifting training, I'd just grab him, pick him up, deadlift him, and just plop him in his chair or put him where he needed to go. And it just cut down on so much time and like harnessing him up and stuff like that. And I know that's not the right protocol to do, but he really liked it because it killed a lot of like cut out a lot of extra time and stuff you had to do. So I won him over fast and quickly became one of his number one helpers. It was myself and another lady named Lindsay. And I was helping him 5 to 6, 7 days a week. I was on call. I would get him up in the morning. I would dress him. I would feed him. I would prep his day. I would help him go to the bathroom. All these little things that people take for granted. And it was such an eye opener for me. It's a tough job. You're dealing with it's a dirty job, and but I could do it. I could hack it, and I loved it. Next to wrestling is one of the most fulfilling things I think I've ever done. And I cared for him for 3 years, man. And it didn't take long. I knew that I loved the guy like a family member. It didn't take long at all. We built a strong relationship with one another. And I will never forget him. Unfortunately, just over a year ago, he passed away. He was having a lot of health issues. But and that's what kind of brought me back into wrestling, actually. I just realized you're not getting any younger and life's too short and you got to do what you love to do. But it was just one of those things where ask and you shall receive. I was looking to help and give back, and the good Lord above like threw that right in my lap. And it was like a test. It's like, here you go. Let's see what you can do with this. This is what you wanted. And yeah, I hope I did my best and made him happy and comfortable for those 3 years we worked together. It's an experience I'll never forget. And he was a blessing to me. Like, he feels fortunate that I got to help him, but to me, he was a blessing in my life. He's just a special human being, and I love him and I miss him very much, Mr. Jerry Berg.
It seems like very nice guy. You're able to help and be around, and that's kind of that's very important. When you see somebody that's struggling that needs help, you gotta be there for them.
Yeah, man.
In times of that, because it's just you never know what people are going through in life, and we need to be there for people when they're going through stuff, and it's important, and I think that's really cool that you were able to do that. And what were some of your favorite things you got to do with him? Like, what was like your most favorite part of being with Jerry?
I would say after I'd get him ready for the day or before bedtime, the hockey games when the playoffs were going on, he was really big into hockey. And we'd watch the Flames or the Oilers. And I wasn't really into sports, but he kind of got me into them, just like sitting and spending time with them and watching it with them. and just hearing all his comments and about like just the coaches and the players, and I had a blast. It was just like a time that just can never be taken away from me. It was just precious, precious time with him. That stands out a lot. And just he was just a funny guy. He just always be smoking all the time. He had a grovelly voice and like just a character, you know, and his little comments and stuff, a funny little sense of humor on him too. And I wish I could have had more time with him. You know, it's just precious time we spent together though. I always cherish that. You know, it was a blessing, like I said, in my life
Yeah.
for sure.
What is it about giving back that gives you the most joy?
Well, I just think we're obligated. It's if you have the means, like I said, like this man, so many motor skills and functions that we just take for granted, of just like getting up and down and using our hands and our legs and walking. And he just didn't have any of that. It was all taken away from him. I mean, it was an obligation to like try and make this man as comfortable and happy as possible. You know, it's, we get dealt different cards in life, and there should be more people involved in home care and giving back and helping in that respect. And to be honest, like I never went to school for any of this stuff. I was just like I said, I prayed and I was looking to try and give back. And I've seen some of the people in home care that have went to school, and some of them just go through the motions and stuff like that, and they're trained and they have certificates and they get paid more money than I did, and they just went through the motions and did a sloppy job. And here I am with no training whatsoever and just like going the extra mile. And I'm not just me, there's others too that are like that as well that I worked alongside with. It's just ironic in that sense. It's not always about the certificate and the schooling. It's about your heart, how big your heart is, in a lot of respects. And just, that matters most, is how big is your heart? What are you willing to do? It's not about the certificates. It's not about the classes and the schooling, the training. It's just the heart.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do, find the will and the passion to give back to others. It's just they do the same for you, and it's so amazing, being able to